So, you've spent your whole life working hard, saving, and investing. But what if I told you that the very moment you decide to retire could be the exact thing that destroys your life savings? It's a pretty terrifying thought, right? But it's a very real risk. In this explainer, we're not just going to talk about building wealth. Nope, we're talking about how to make it last forever. Let's dive into the secrets of perpetual wealth. Just take a look at this. This is basically a retirement nightmare hiding in plain sight. You hit your magic number, 3 crores. You think, I've made it, I've won the game. But then you make one wrong move, one seemingly small decision to withdraw 8% a year, and that entire fortune could just, poof, evaporate in only 2 decades. I mean, how is that even possible? Okay, so here are the 2 futures waiting for that 3 crore fund. On the left, you see the perfect storm. That 8% withdrawal literally cracks open your nest egg and sends your wealth into a nosedive. But on the right, things look a whole lot brighter. A 4% withdrawal doesn't just keep your savings intact, it actually lets your wealth keep growing. It's the difference between a countdown to 0 and a path to infinity. So what's the hidden enemy at play here? This is what we're calling the 3 crore paradox. It's this absolutely shocking idea that a fortune, a massive pile of money, has a hidden self-destruct button, one that can erase decades of your hard work if you're not paying attention. So what is this hidden weakness? Well, there's a specific villain lurking in your portfolio, and it becomes incredibly dangerous the moment you stop earning and start withdrawing. It's a risk most people don't even know exists until it's way too late. And here it is. The villain's name is sequencing risk. To put it simply, it's not just what your returns are, but when you get them. If you have some bad luck in the first few years of retirement, say a market dip right after you stop working, it can be absolutely catastrophic. Why? Because you're forced to sell your investments at low prices just to pay your bills, and that permanently damages your portfolio's ability to ever bounce back. And the damage is, well, it's devastating. If bad market returns hit you right at the start of retirement, it can trigger this horrible domino effect, potentially wiping out nearly a third of your entire fund. A 30% shortfall. Just imagine that. Years of your financial security just vanishing because of bad timing. Okay, this is where it gets really mind-bending. Look at these 2 scenarios. Both of them have the exact same average return over the long haul, but the final amount of money is dramatically different. How? It's all about the timing. If you get your gains early on, you're golden. But if the losses hit you first, every single withdrawal you make becomes a knockout blow, leaving your fund permanently crippled. But you know what they say? Every villain has a weakness. And for sequencing risk, our hero is a powerful, simple guiding principle. Let's shift gears to the solution and see how we can build a fortress around our savings. Here it is, the hero of our story, the magic number that can defeat sequencing risk. 3 to 4%. And listen, this isn't just a guideline. It's the key to making your wealth last forever. This is your safe withdrawal rate. So, why does this simple rule work so well? Well, think of your wealth like a healthy apple tree. An aggressive 8% withdrawal is like taking a saw and chopping up the roots. But a 3 to 4% withdrawal, that's just like picking a few of the apples. You're only taking a small portion of the year's growth, leaving the tree, your principal investment, to keep growing stronger and produce even more fruit next year, easily outpacing something like inflation. All right, so we have our rule, but how do we actually put it into practice, especially when the markets get chaotic and scary? This is where we build our financial fortress, using a brilliantly simple method called the bucket strategy. This is our direct counterattack. The bucket strategy is like a shield, specifically designed to absorb the shock of a market downturn. It neutralizes sequencing risk before it can ever lay a finger on your core wealth. Here's how it works. It's pretty simple. You divide your money into 3 buckets. First up is your cash bucket. This holds about 2 years' worth of living expenses. It's your immediate safety net, completely untouched by market ups and downs. The second is your debt or bonds bucket, with maybe 5 to 10 years of expenses for stable, predictable returns. And the third, the equities bucket, this holds everything else. This is your long-term growth engine, designed to compound powerfully for decades to come. So, let's say the market crashes tomorrow. You still need to pay your bills, right? Where does the money come from? Here's the critical part. It does not come from your equities. You draw from your cash or your debt buckets instead. And that is the genius of this whole thing. You give your growth engine, your equities, all the time it needs to recover, and you completely avoid that catastrophic mistake of selling your best assets when they're down. Okay, so we've covered the risk, the magic rule, and the fortress strategy. Now let's bring this home. How do you apply all of this to your money starting today? It's time to stress test your own future. First, pull up a calculator. Seriously, can you live on 4% of your current savings? Second, be a bit of a pessimist for a minute. What happens if the market tanks the day after you retire? Is your bucket strategy in place? And finally, think bigger. Think beyond yourself. How can you use these tools to build a financial legacy that could last for generations?
Let's just put it all together real quick. As you can see, for every problem, there's a specific solution. The problem of sequencing risk, we solve that with the bucket strategy. The problem of inflation eating away at your money, that's solved by the 3 to 4% rule. And the need for long-term growth, we solve that by protecting your equities. See how each piece just locks into place, all with one ultimate goal: perpetual wealth.
Please, don't let this just be another interesting explainer you forget about tomorrow. Take action tonight. Find a retirement simulator online and plug in your numbers with the 4% rule. Grab a piece of paper and just sketch out what your 3 buckets would look like. See for yourself how this can change your entire financial future. The power isn't in knowing this stuff, it's in doing it. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. The tools are now in your hands. This isn't just about having enough money to last your lifetime anymore. This is about rewriting your family's financial story for good. So the real question is, what will your compounding legacy be?